What's up, everyone? This is Minnesota Mike back with you for another video. This is another one in my, I guess, this year biannual live stream of Alice's Restaurant because yesterday I did it and something was really weird with the audio. I guess the Stockbridge jail was not really fit to. How's a performance of Alice's Restaurant, maybe by design, so people couldn't complain about the conditions there. But anyway, we should be back in action now and ready to go for take two of the 60th anniversary edition of Alice's Restaurant. Now, of course, when I say that, I mean that the events that inspired this song happened 60 years ago this year. And that was on November 25th of 1965. The 60th anniversary of the song's release, of course, was 1967, and so we'll celebrate that again in a couple of years. But anyway, this is the annual Alice's Restaurant, and I hope you enjoy it. This song is called Alice's Restaurant. It's about Alice and the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant, that's just the name of the song. And that's why I call this song Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad tracks. Said you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Now, it all started 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. It was 2 years ago on Thanksgiving when my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live at the restaurant. She lives in the church nearby the restaurant, in the bell tower with her husband Ray and Fasha the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be. And having all that room, seeing as how they took out all the pews, they decided they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. We got up there, we found the garbage in there, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the city dump. So we took the half-ton of garbage, put it in the back of the red VW microbus, took the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on towards the city dump. Well, we got there, and there was a big sign across the dump saying closed on Thanksgiving. And we had never heard of a dump being closed on Thanksgiving before, and so, with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. We didn't find one, until we came to the side of the road, and off the side of the road there was another 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff was another pile of garbage. And we decided that one big pile is better than two little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. That's what we did, and we drove back to the church and had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beaten. We went to sleep but didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obi. He said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half-ton of garbage, and we just wanted to know if you had any information about it." And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obi, sir. I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to Obi for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter, and he said that we had to go down and pick up the garbage, and also had to go down and speak with him at the police officer's station. So we got in the red VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed on towards the police officer's station. Now, friends, there was only one or two things that Obi could have done when we got to the police officer's station, and the first thing was that he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely, and we didn't expect it. And the second thing he could have done was he could have bawled us out and told us to never be seen driving garbage in the vicinity again. And that's what we expected, but there was a third possibility, and that was that we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed. And Obi said he was gonna fine us. We had to go pick up some garbage in the snow, and I said, Obi, I don't think I can pick up garbage in these handcuffs. And he said, shut up, kid, and get in the back of the car. And that's what we did. We sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this happened here. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime of the last 50 years. And everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story about it, and they was using up all kinds of cop equipment they had hanging around the police officer's station. They was taking plastic tire tracks and footprints and dog-smelling prints, and they took 27 8x10 colored glossy photographs with pictures and a circle and an arrow on the back of each one, explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. We took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not even to mention the aerial photography. After the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Obi said he was gonna put us in a cell. He said, kid, I'm gonna put you in the cell. I want your wallet and your belt. And I said, Obi, I can understand you want my wallet, so I don't have any money to spend in the cell, but what do you want my belt for? And Obi said, kid, we don't want any hangings. And I said, Obi, did you think I was gonna hang myself for littering? Obi said he was just making sure, and friends that Obi was, 'cause he took out the toilet seat so I couldn't hit myself over the head with it and drown. And he took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars and roll up the toilet paper down the window, and then the toilet paper and slide down and have an escape. Obi was just making sure, and it was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice? It's a song about Alice. Alice came by, and with a few nasty words to Obi on the side, bailed us out of jail, and we went back to the church and had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat. And we didn't get up until the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in and sat down, and Obi came in with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. Sat down, man came in, said, all rise, and we all stood up. And Obi stood up with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures, and the judge walked in and sat down with the C&I dog. And he sat down, and we sat down, and Obi looked at the C&I dog, and then at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, and looked at the C&I dog, and then back at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. And he began to cry, because Obi came to the realization that this was a typical case of American blind justice, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it. The judge wasn't going to look the other way at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. And we was fined $50 and had to pick up the garbage in the snow. But that's not what I came here to tell you about. I came to talk about the draft. They got a big building down in New York City. It's called Whitehall Street, where you walk in, you get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. I went down to get my physical examination one day. I walked in, I sat down, I got good and drunk the night before, so I looked and felt my best when I went in that morning. 'Cause I wanted to look like the all-American kid from New York City. Man, I wanted to feel like I wanted to be the all-American kid from New York. And I walked in, sat down, I was hung down, brung down, hung up, and all kinds of mean and nasty, ugly things. And I walked in, sat down, and they gave me a piece of paper, and they said, kid, go see the psychiatrist in room 604. And I went up there, I said, "Shrink, I wanna kill. I mean, I wanna kill, kill, kill. I wanna see dead, burnt bodies and blood and guts and gore in my teeth and eat those dead, burnt bodies. I mean, kill, kill, kill." And I started jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill, kill." And he started jumping up and down with me, and we was both jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill, kill." And the sergeant came over, pinned a medal on me, sent me down the hall, and said, "You're our boy." I didn't feel too good about it. Proceeded down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me in the thing there. And I was in there for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I was in there for a good long time, just going through all kinds of mean and nasty, ugly things. I was having just a tough time in there, as they was inspecting and injecting every single part of me, and they was leaving no part untouched. Proceeded through, and when I finally came to see the last man, I walked in, sat down after the whole big thing there, and I walked up and said, "What do you want?" And he said, "Kid, we only got one question. Have you ever been arrested?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the Alice's Restaurant massacre with full orchestration and 5-part harmony and stuff like that and all the phenomena. And he stopped me right there and he said, "Kid, did you ever go to court?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. And he stopped me right there and he said, "Kid, I want you to go sit down on that bench that says Group W. Now, kid." And I walked over to the bench over there. There is the Group W bench, where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army after committing your special type of crime. And they were all kinds of mean and nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench there. Mother rapers and father stabbers and father rapers. The father rapers sitting on the bench right next to me. And they was mean and nasty and ugly and horrible crime-type guys sitting on the bench next to me. And the meanest, ugliest, nastiest one, the meanest father raper of them all, came up to me and he said, "Kid, what'd you get?" And I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage." And he said, "What were you arrested for, kid?" And I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on the bench there, and the big hairy eyeball and all kinds of mean and nasty, ugly things. Till I said, "Creating a nuisance," and they all came back and shook my hand, and we had a great time on the bench talking about crime and mother stabbing and father raping and all kinds of groovy things that we was talking about on the bench. And everything was fine. We was smoking cigarettes and having all kinds of things, doing all kinds of things, until the sergeant came over, had some paper in his hand, held it up and said, "Kids, this piece of paper got 47 words, 37 sentences, 58 words, and we want to know details of the crime, time of the crime, and any other kind of thing you got to say to and about the crime, and I want to know the arresting officer's name and any other kind of thing you have to say." And he talked for 45 minutes, and nobody understood a word he said, but we had fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench there. And I filled out the massacre with 4-part harmony, and I wrote it down there just like it was, and everything was fine. And I put down the pencil and turned over the piece of paper there, and there on the other side, in the middle of the other side, away from everything else on the other side, in parentheses, in capital letters, quotated, read the following words: "Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself?" And I went over to the sergeant and I said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of damn gall to ask me if I've rehabilitated myself. I mean, I just mean that I'm sitting over here on the bench. I'm sitting over here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, burn women, kids, houses, and villages after being a litter bug." He looked at me and he said, "Kid, we don't like your kind, and we're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington." And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folder, is a study in black and white of my fingerprints. And the only reason I'm singing you this song now is because you may know somebody in a similar situation, or you may be in a similar situation. And if your situation is like that, there's only one thing you can do, and that's to walk into the shrink's office wherever you are, Just walk into the shrink's office and say, "Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant," and walk out. You know, if just one person does it, they might think he's really sick and they won't take it. And if two people do it in harmony, they might think they're both crazy and they won't take either of them. And if three, can you imagine 3 people walking in, singing a bar of Alice's restaurant, and walking out? They might think it's an organization. And can you imagine 50 people a day? I say 50 people a day walking into the shrink's office and singing a bar of Alice's restaurant and walking out. And friends, they might think it's a movement. And that's really what this is. It's the Alice's Restaurant Anti-Massacre Movement. And all you gotta do to join is sing along the next time it comes around on the guitar. With feeling. So we'll wait for it to come around on the guitar and hear and sing it when it does. Here it comes. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back. Just a half a mile from the railroad track. Said you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. That was horrible. If you want to end a war and stuff, you gotta sing it loud. I've been singing this song now for 25 minutes. I could sing it for another 25 minutes. I'm not proud or tired. So we'll just wait for it to come around again. This time with 4-part harmony and feeling. We're just waiting for it to come around is all we're doing. Alright now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant, excepting Alice. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back. Just a half a mile from the railroad track. Said you can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. At Alice's Restaurant. All right, and that was Alice's Restaurant. Like I said, by Earl Guthrie, a Thanksgiving tradition, and we are one day late due to some technical difficulties at the Stockbridge, Massachusetts jail cell. I don't know why they haven't just embraced it, but better late than never. And like I said in the descriptor of this video, this year marks 60 years since the events of Alice's Restaurant, because he says at the beginning it all happened on Thanksgiving 2 years ago, and the song was released in 1967, so that would push back to 65. But one of my absolute favorite songs to play, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Minnesota Mike, thank you so much, and of course, make sure that you check out all my other videos on YouTube, and I've got my Christmas live stream coming up, I believe on the 20th of December. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's going to be a terrific one. Again, I'm Minnesota Mike.